across the road.
Why?
To get into the Infinity G37.
I know it's been so long since Ryan and I actually went on this trip. We went to Hawaii in November of 2022, but after going over all of my footage, I couldn't resist sharing my trip with you guys. So on our first day, we had found this trail, or like these roads that led to all of these different trails. So on our first full day, we decided to explore and go on a hike. We ended up on a 2.5 mile hike and got to see our first waterfall of our trip, which obviously we'll see a lot of waterfalls, but really this was just so beautiful because there's just nothing like this in any of the cities that I've ever lived in. It was just so tropical and such amazing views and just like perfect weather as well. After we did our hike, we decided that we wanted to continue to drive around the island just to see a little bit more of what we might be able to explore and see. We didn't have a whole ton of plans aside from checking out the beach at some point, so we really got a chance to see some different things. We got to see a blowhole, these beautiful beaches, and these beautiful views. Honestly, it was just breathtaking, especially it being our very first day. One of the craziest things about a place like Hawaii is that every time we would explore a new section of the island, we felt like we were in another country. Ryan had been dying to see any possible animals that he could, and it was so funny because he finally found this little guy in the porta potty. On day 2, we wanted to spend some time at the beach. We wanted to ideally snorkel, but unfortunately the water was a bit choppy for snorkeling, so we just laid on the beach. It was sprinkling a little bit when we were there. It's sunny and rainy at the exact same time. Are you trying to capture it? I don't think you can kind of see it on my book. Raindrops. I just don't understand. How is it sunny and rainy? And there were lots of turtles just chilling on the side as well as surfing in the waves. And I think this was my first time seeing any kind of sea turtle up close. We drove around to beach number 2 and ended up at this beautiful area where we got to enjoy the sunset together. There was almost nobody here, so we were pretty much alone and got to see different wildlife like sea urchins and little crabs, and it was such a beautiful way to end our day. This next day for us was our Road to Hana day. We started a hike to the waterfalls, went to an arboretum, and then went to the halfway to Hana point, and we saw a bunch of sights along the way. We ended up at a lava tube, which was really cool, and then saw some other different really cool beaches, and we tried to go the full loop, but we didn't realize how intense the roads would be. We were in a minivan, it was raining, it was sunset, everything was sort of stacked against us, and we were a little nervous, but when we got to some of the most beautiful areas I think I'll ever see in my entire life, it made it so worth it. This was also another instance where every single time we made a different stop, it felt like we were in another country. It was so crazy how we would make a bend in our driving and just see a totally different view. But I think that was one of the reasons why we loved Hawaii so much.
go.
I can't see the frog.
I know. Let's see it though.
We originally had plans to go over to some sort of national park that they had. It was like a volcanic national park. But instead, we decided to go on this submarine tour, which went down to this quote unquote shipwreck that was planted there. And you got to see all of the fish that were living here. I thought it was such a cool experience. And we really felt like we didn't know the next time we would have a chance to go in a submarine like this.
Let's go.
Our next day, we flew from Maui to Oahu, and because we had travel in this day, we didn't have a ton of time, but we did end up going to Diamond Head, which was such a cool thing to see, especially with all of the history surrounding the area. We also got to see the Punch Bowl and overall just sort of start to explore what Oahu had to offer. The next day, we woke up early and decided to have a full museum day. It was supposed to be rainy today, so it was kind of the perfect weather for it. We went first to the Pearl Harbor Museum, and it was so cool. There was so much information there. We really only went to the submarine portion because everything else had a really long line.
You afraid, Jess?
And honestly, it could have taken us an easy 8 hours to do everything, but it was just so informative and had so much detail. And then we went over to the Bishop Museum, which was a Polynesian and Hawaiian cultural museum. There was so much to explore in here as well. We tried to do as much as possible, but there were some sections that were only for kids, and it was just kind of nice to do something a little different, a little bit more relaxing, and have a couple of museums to check out. Today we planned to have a relaxing beach day. We decided to go over to a beach in Waikiki that was walking distance from us. We really wanted to get into the water and snorkel, but we hadn't brought our snorkels because we didn't think that it was a good place for it. But it turned out that there were turtles and fish everywhere. It was raining on and off, but it was still 80 degrees and so pretty. Wow. There's a turtle out there. After that, we went and got lunch and took a nap, and initially we were going to try heading to North Shore, but instead we tried going to another bay, but there was so much wind and rain that they had closed it, so we just decided to head back to the original beach we were at and try to go snorkeling again. We didn't see any turtles this time around, but we did see anemones, urchins, and just a couple of cute fish. Our last full day was a really big adventure day for us, but it was one of the coolest days of our entire trip. We started our day off really early and we went over to Kualo Ranch, which was where they filmed Jurassic Park and Jurassic World, but they also had filmed a ton of other movies, and we decided to do a bike tour.
Say T-Rex.
Our tour guide was so cool. His name was AJ. He gave us this tour of not only the movies and stuff that they had filmed there, but also just a lot about the land, Hawaiian culture, how to say certain things in their language. And it was just so much more of what we wanted. And then after, we went over to the Polynesian Cultural Center, which was kind of like what I imagined to be sort of like an Epcot, where it's just a bunch of lands and you walk through, they show you different cultures and traditions. And then dinner started and we had a buffet where I ate way too much, and then we got to see a really beautiful luau. We got so lucky with this trip, especially because we didn't plan much before getting to the islands. I felt like we got to see and experience so much, and I'm so excited I get to share all of these amazing memories with you all.
All right, Jess, say it again. You don't think?
I don't think I can do it.
You only have 2 plates left.
Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.